We're back. Sign up on ajira.co.ke to book a session with our music and video producers across the country. Work on your music, jingles, spoken words, and even podcasts to realize your dream. All for free. Studio Mashinani, Radani Talent.
A very good afternoon to you. Thank you very much for watching KBC Lunchtime News. My name is Betty Kiptum. Now, Kenyans have been urged to use digital media spaces to set positive and constructive agenda as the world embraces the online era. This is according to the Principal Secretary in charge of Information, Communication and Digital Economy, John Tanui. The PS was at KBC's Radio Taifa morning show during the World Radio Week 2025. This year's theme is Radio and Climate Change.
Kutumia hizo digital platforms tukijua tumepewa uwezo mkubwa sana. Uwezo ya kuongea kwa redio, kwa TV ni nafasi kubwa sana, na tunatakiwa tutumie kwa uangalifu kuweza kujenga, sio kubomoa, kuweza kuinua, sio kushukisha, na tuweze kupeleka nchi yetu isonge mbele. Wale wote wanahusika na maneno ya redio ya kwamba waendeleze hiyo msingi nzuri ambao walioanzisha kama kina Leonard Mambo Potela na wengine waliweka msingi ya heshima, msingi ya utu, ya kuhakikisha the foundations ya nchi inaendelea, patriotism ikiwa ikizingatiwa.
And Kenya's beef export to the Islamic Republic of Iran is set to increase following a trade deal that will see Kenya export 50 metric tons of meat to the Middle Eastern country. Islamic Republic of Iran Ambassador to Kenya, Dr. Ali Golampur, who was speaking during the Iran's 46th anniversary in Nairobi, said plans are underway to actualize the deal as the two countries strengthen trade ties.
Kenyan delegation led by Land Cabinet Secretary Alice Wahome joined the Islamic Republic of Iran Ambassador to Kenya, Dr. Ali Gulampur, to mark the Islamic Republic of Iran 46th anniversary in Nairobi, Kenya. It is here where the Islamic Republic of Iran Ambassador to Kenya revealed that his country is set to import 50 metric tons of high-quality meat from Kenya, following the successful ongoing national livestock vaccination campaign seeking to enhance the health of livestock.
The health issue, all the standards, to be observed, just to make sure that the meat that is exporting to Iran is healthy, for two purposes: just to protect people, their health, and also to protect the credibility and credibility of popularity and credibility of the exporting market of livestock from Kenya.
Dr. Ali said plans are underway to actualize the deal as the two countries strengthen trade bilateral ties.
The Iranian government and we here, we are planned for bringing the level of the relations in bilateral relations and expanding to many different areas, including industry, health sector, pharmaceutical sector, in agriculture, going from products trade to machinery, and machinery production lines to be established here.
The diplomats noting that various milestones have been achieved between two nations so far. CS Wahome said the two nations are top on the agenda to address challenges in tea export ahead of the Kenya-Iran Joint Cooperation Commission scheduled for May this year.
As we advance these linkages, we have commenced preparations to host the 7th session of Kenya-Iran Joint Commission for Cooperation, that's JCC, and Joint Commission for Economic Cooperation, and therefore we are looking forward for those two frameworks to avail opportunity to evaluate our shared culture objectives for greater collaboration.
And individuals eyeing public forest resources have been put on notice. Environment, Climate Change and Forestry Cabinet Secretary Aden Duale says the procurement of the assets must be done in accordance with the law to avoid encroachments and grabbing of forest cover across the country. Duale spoke Monday when he presided over the launch of the inaugural Forest Status Report 2024, where he underscored the economic value of forestry sector that contributes to Kenya's gross domestic product.
During the launch of the report that provides an in-depth analysis of Kenya's forest ecosystems, Environment Cabinet Secretary Aden Duale read a riot act to individuals who seek to acquire forest assets illegally.
It can never be sold. KFS cannot sell those commercial assets, public assets, outside the law. Days are gone when a policy of allocation used to take place.
The Cabinet Secretary underscoring the economic value of the sector that contributes approximately 3.6% to Kenya's GDP.
The report indicates that Kenya's forests currently sequester approximately 140 million tons of carbon dioxide.
If we all do what we expected in our various stations of work, then we will have our forest be where they're supposed to be and claim the designed position.
The report, a first of its kind, has identified the mechanization of forestry operations, enhancement of investments in green spaces, urban forestry and avenue planting, resource mobilization for forest operation and processes, as well as adopting nature-based solutions as priority interventions for sustainable forest management. The average annual forest degradation rate, according to the report, is estimated at 14,934 hectares, with deforestation rate at an annual average of 84,716 hectares. This has been attributed to, among others, an increase in population, encroachment, overgrazing, natural disasters and socio-cultural barriers.
We identify the variety of value chains that can be invested to utilize forests sustainably. The primary goal is to provide accurate data and insights on forest conditions and inform decision making using advanced technologies, stakeholder input.
The report is further recommending enhanced collaboration, capacity building and promotion of technological innovation to strengthen forest monitoring, management and conservation. Yusufar reporting for Lunchtime News.
And Parliament is set to resume this afternoon for the fourth session following the end of the long December recess. Both houses at the bicameral Parliament, the Senate and the National Assembly, will start with the reconstitution and approval of committees of the houses, including House Business Committee, chaired by the Speaker, that will set the business to be transacted for the upcoming plenary sittings.
As the fourth session sets in this afternoon, members of Parliament have a full in tray. First is the reconstitution of the committees, most importantly, the House Business Committee that will be guiding the House on the business that will be transacted during the plenary sittings. Key businesses that will be prioritized by both houses include critical financial and legislative matters. These include the passage of the budget policy statement for 2025. At the Senate, deliberations on the Division of Revenue Bill 2025-2026, County Allocation Revenue Bill and the County Government Additional Allocations Bill 2025-2026 will be considered.
Every subsequent Senate has seen the increase in the funding that's made available, the equitable share of funding that's made available to counties. This is a success, and this Senate has been no exception. You know that in the current financial year, the funds, the equitable share has risen to 387 billion.
Another significant agenda for the Senate is the review of the revenue sharing formula among counties, since the third basis for revenue sharing approved by Parliament in September 2020 expires at the end of the 2024-2025 financial year.
We are talking about revenue sharing. This is an emotive matter. We are talking about everyone looking out for the interests of their respective counties. So it's a usual democratic process. It will involve a lot of to and fro. It will involve a lot of negotiation. So I shouldn't call that a quagmire. It is democracy at play. It is a constitutional design, as it were. It is what the Senate was established to undertake.
At the National Assembly, the budget policy statement meant to guide the budgetary allocation over the medium term, and the debt management strategy are expected to be submitted in the House on or before 15th February 2025. The third session, which came to an end early December 2024, was characterized by various events, including the rejection of the Finance Bill 2024. The ABC selection panel will also submit a report to the House after concluding the process of recruiting nominees for the positions of chairperson and members of the commission. As the session unfolds, lawmakers will be expected to navigate the legislative priorities while addressing the pressing needs of county governments and national development. Kamche Menza for Lunchtime News.
The Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission has urged Kenyans to collaborate with the anti-corruption body to effectively fight corruption. Speaking in Nandi County during an event to sensitize the public on ways of curbing corruption, EACC North Rift Regional Manager Charles Rusungu said corruption has become a deeply rooted vice, which requires a collaboration of all Kenyans to dismantle it.
Vile tujuavyo sisi wote, prevention is better than cure. So badala tungoje mpaka ufisadi ingie, lazima tusemezane ndio tusuie isiingie. Hatufai kungoja ufisadi itendeke, lazima tukue proactive ndio mambo ya ufisadi yasiingie katika muungano wetu.
We can be able to investigate these matters of corruption, and also we can be able to educate the public on the punishments as regard these menace of corruption.
So sio eti kwa sababu Nandi imemulikwa kwa sababu tuko na ufisadi mwingi. Hapana, ni nafasi ya kuhamasisha, ni nafasi ya kuelimishana ili kila mmoja wetu achukue jukumu.
A group of university students in Homa Bay County have kicked off a Plastic Zero campaign aimed at reducing plastic pollution in the area. Operating under the banner of Save the Earth from A to Z, the campaign targets areas around Lake Victoria, which is affected by plastic pollution, posing a threat to marine life and the ecosystem. Details of these and more in the county news briefs.
The Homa Bay Town cleanup exercise saw students and volunteers working together to collect and properly dispose of plastic waste littering streets and public spaces. According to participants, the initiative is part of an exercise to encourage environmental sustainability.
We are trying to reduce, to help climate change. Around the lake also we have the ecosystem, the marine ecosystem, where we need to preserve our fish. So as we preserve our fish, even those who receive their economy from the fish, from the lake, can have a better atmosphere to do that work.
Meanwhile, health stakeholders in Kisii County have called for an urgent need to end stigmatization among epilepsy patients and also help patients have easy access to treatment through sensitization campaigns.
We are going to be ambassadors and we are going to make sure that we talk about this condition. Remember that this condition can get to anyone at any age, and it is not a curse. And whenever you get it, there is a cost for treatment, and you can come to the hospitals.
Elsewhere, a section of residents in Barwesa in Baringo North are up in arms after 4 men were allegedly killed during a livestock theft row that led to a confrontation between the police and locals. The angry residents blocked Barwesa Road when police responded to the incident where a number of sheep were stolen.
Policing volunteers, vijana wetu, walikuwa nasindikiza wakora wale wameiba mifuko ya watu. Patala ya polisi kuona ya kwamba wamesaidiwa, wakaanza kuvamia wale wasaidizi.
Yes. We can't have carelessness of the police. Open shootings and careless shootings. We are condemning here in Barwesa. We wouldn't want to see that happening again.
And the youth leadership in Uasin Gishu have called upon their peers to be at the forefront in preventing the spread of HIV/AIDS by encouraging self-testing exercises besides conducting sensitization initiatives on preventive measures among their peers.
Statistics from the National AIDS Control Council, that is NSDCC, says that 41% of new HIV infection occur among the adolescent and young people, and we need to reach them with HIV prevention messages.
And a section of human rights activists in Mombasa are urging the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, DCI, to hasten the probe into the murder of a woman allegedly killed in Likoni sub-county. The body of the said woman was found stuffed in a sack at a dump site near residential houses in the area.
We are calling for action. Enough is enough. The number of cases of femicide are increasing every day. Haishi hata siku mbili siku tatu utapata mwili wa mama umetupwa. For how long tutakuwa tunapigania haki za wamama?
Tungeomba ule mtu yote angeona pahali pengine kuna hizo vipande za mwili, kichwa, mikono na miguu zimetupwa, anaweza ripoti kwa kituo cha polisi chenye kiko karibu.
That is quite a disturbing story. Now, Kinangop Member of Parliament Kwenya Thuku has defended his support for Kenya Kwanza government, saying his crossing ranks from opposition to supporting the government will benefit his constituency. Speaking during the official launch of projects funded by the NGCDF Kinangop Fund, the MP said his focus now lies on lobbying for development and not engaging in politics. His sentiments were echoed by the area residents who urged the political class to deliver on their manifestos.
Hii serikali ambayo imechaguliwa kwa sababu it is legitimately there, I am going to support its programs. Nikosoe mahali inahitaji kukosolewa kwa sababu sauti hiyo nimepatiwa na watu wa Kinangop, lakini kazi ambayo inahitajika kufanyika hapa kwetu haitakosa kufanyika kwa sababu wakati kazi ilikuwa inafanyika sikuwa pale, nilikuwa nimekimbia sijui wapi. Kwa sababu hiyo shughuli mnaona watu wakikimbia kila mahali, haina faida kwa mwananchi. Sasa wakisikia nilikuwa sijui nimeenda wapi, faida yao ni gani?
Sisi tunataka maendeleo, tunasema sisi tunataka watoto wetu wasome, na tunashukuru mheshimiwa kwa sababu ameshikilia masomo sana na ameshikilia mambo ya masomo. Kwa hivyo kwa wakati huu hatuna mambo mengi, tunasema tuendelee na kazi iendelee. Sisi hatuna shida na mheshimiwa kwa sababu kazi yenye amefanya na yenye anakuja kufanya, kwa sababu sasa kama kwa leo tungemkataza kukuja hapa, hii horo yetu haigefunguliwa.
And the Ministry of Health will integrate mental health into the Universal Healthcare Coverage Project. Head of Health Promotion at the Ministry of Health, Gladys Mugambi, said the move is meant to support Kenyans facing the challenge that has been attributed to the rise in cases of suicide. She was speaking during a consultative meeting in Nairobi with Thalia Psychotherapy, an organization which specializes in promoting mental health in Kenya. The meeting, dubbed Leveraging on Technology in Promoting Mental Health, also saw the launch of Ajala and AI, that is an AI-based anonymous calling service app designed specifically for men, encouraging them to open up about their mental health struggles without the fear of judgment.
Directorate of Health Promotion and Education appreciate the support that Thalia is bringing to empowering our community members and providing solutions to areas of mental health where we've been lacking support and lacking tools that can be used. Also using technology to be able to identify people with mental health early.
We are able to work together in all sectors, education, health,
and our communities at large, we believe that we can work on the prevention, because if we're always checking on how people are doing, then we can easily identify the challenges and easily deal with the issues before it escalates to curative.
We know that sometimes people do not understand what kind of mental health issue that they could be having. This they think is normal, but we would like to create awareness and increase knowledge among the communities.
Baringo County Governor Benjamin Cheboy has called upon the government to intervene on the plight of Kabarnet School for the deaf and blind and its deserving students. Cheboy further appealed to the national government to release the capitation funds, emphasizing the critical importance of allowing the school to function effectively. Kabarnet School for the deaf and blind has been facing financial difficulties after going over 2 years without government funding, forcing them to rely on donation to survive. The school is organizing a 5-kilometer walk on Valentine's Day to raise funds to support both staff and the vulnerable children.
This is a day also to come on board and try to unlock the challenges that the school face. This is a school that was established, and since that time it has been surviving on it almost on its own, surviving on its well-wishers.
We as a county are appealing to you to forego your Valentine's gift to your loved ones and make it available to the children of Kabarnet School for the Deaf and Blind. Let us put a smile on the face of these young disadvantaged children.
From Baringo to the county government of Kiambu that has embarked on distributing free maize seeds and fertilizer to farmers aimed at enhancing food security in the county. Speaking during the distribution exercise of the farm inputs in Kijabe ward in Lari sub-county, Governor Kimani Wamatangi emphasized that the program aims not only to enhance food production but also to ensure that farmers are well prepared for the long rains anticipated in the coming month. Farmers lauded the initiative, saying the move will help the region to be food secure.
To May, and we have provided this, governor has provided these inputs so that our farmers, they don't have any excuse to say that they don't have something to put on their farms, and he has continuously provided these inputs in all areas, all wards in Kiambu.
Kila mtu anapokea haki yake. Zamani hatukuwa tunapata hizi vitu, na zilikuwa pesa hizi, serikali ilikuwa na pesa, lakini hatukuwa tunazipata.
The Kilifi County government is set to launch a new kindergarten scholarship program aimed at boosting enrollment and retention in early childhood education. The initiative comes in response to the growing number of street children and the escalating challenges of poverty in the region. Kilifi County Education Minister Felkin Kaingu announced that each kindergarten student will receive an annual scholarship of 980 shillings in addition to the county's existing porridge program for kindergarten pupils.
Wa pwani wamekuwa wakipata changamoto na mambo ya masomo. Ndio tumekuwa na shida ya 100% transition. Watoto wengi wana drop out on the way, wengine wanaenda mpaka wana drop out wakiwa university. Sio kwa ati hawa watoto ni wajinga, sababu imekuwa ni mazingira wale ambao wanasomea na hali ya umaskini ya wazazi ama ya society.
Kuna kizazi hapa katikati kimepotea kidogo. Sasa tunataka kuanzia hapo chini, ndio tunapowakuza katika maadili mema katika hizo shule za chekechea. Ndio tumeona kwamba fedha nyingi heri tuweke hapo mwanzo, the foundation.
Residents of Athi Village in Kitengela, Kajiado County have taken to the streets to demand the immediate rehabilitation of the dilapidated roads in the area. Led by local activist Njihia Mwangi, the residents expressed their concern over the deplorable condition of the road, connecting Athi to Juja Farm Center. The protesters blocked key roads leading to the village, emphasizing their frustration over the poor road network, which they claim has had a devastating impact on local businesses. The residents are now urging local leaders and authorities to take immediate action to repair the roads and restore proper access to the area.
Hii barabara ikitengenezwa, mambo mingi itasaidia vijana. Kwanza sana sana watoto wa shule hawaendi shule.
Sisi ndio na provide material, lakini mnakujia huku na gari za county na maroli za county mnapeleka kwingine na hamtutengenezei. Ni kwa nini?
Hii sehemu imekosa kukua na maendeleo kwa sababu ya ukosefu mkubwa wa barabara, na hata pia na huko mashinani hata hatuna barabara za kutoka. Hakuna mtu anasema tuko na barabara.
And over 900 students from the National Industrial Training Authority graduated at Ndumberi Stadium in Kiambu County after completing different courses courtesy of the National Government Constituency Development Fund. Speaking at the event, Kiambu Town Member of Parliament Machua Waithaka lauded the graduates, noting that he is working closely with TVET institutions to ensure youth in the region have access to necessary training skills that will help them acquire jobs within their locality.
Usome, upate degree. Kama wewe ni electrical, unaanza kazi ya electrical. Siku moja unaweza soma upate electrical degree. Kwa hivyo mjue hii ni Mungu aliyekuja.
Most of this hizi kazi zinataka mtu ajiriwe mahali fulani kwa kampuni na it's very hard to find such gigs.
Hii opportunity ilikuja, sisi tuliweza kujitokeza, na that's why tuko hapa. Tunaambia mheshimiwa asante sana. So kama angeweza kutusaidia to another step, because zenye tulifanya ni kama artisan, that is grade 3.
And on that note, Lunchtime News takes a quick break here on KBC Channel 1. When we come back, more updates including business and sports. Do stay with us.
Karibuni. Hii ndio base ya the best local entertainment.
Sitakubali ukalie kiti cha umiliki katika kampuni ya mume wangu.
Tell me where my money is and I'll make this quick and painless.
You don't know what they do to girls like you.
I think it's a very unfair. Nakujua vizuri sana. Na najua mdosi wangu vizuri sana. Hauwezi akakuandika kazi.
We'll be having a conversation of, is there love in the 21st century? Munaeka standards zenye hata your own parents hawajamit. So how do you expect this son of Adam to achieve some standards?
Love is an illusion that becomes reality when there is chemistry of personality. Shortcuts. Sometimes shortcuts are the longest cuts. Kuna kitu inaitwa process. God allowing you to kuwa na 3 P's. 1, promise, 2, process, then provision. Na hapa kwa process, most of us tunapotelea.
In the 21st century, generations that will never change, irrespective of a generational change.
Welcome back. You are watching the Lunchtime News. Now, the victims of the tragic Mai Mahiu flash floods have accused persons in government of intentionally frustrating efforts by various humanitarian organizations to help them resettle. The survivors of the April 2024 incident that left at least 60 people dead say attempts by various organizations to construct houses for the hardest hit families have so far been thwarted on the basis of delayed assessment. John Kahiro narrates the plight of the survivors whose lives were left in limbo by the floods.
Flourishing village nestled in the beauteous escarpments of Mai Mahiu in Nakuru County. The Kamushiri village was a place where families thrived and life moved at a quite hopeful pace. However, 29th of April 2024 will be a day forever etched in the heavy hearts of residents after the tragic flash flood unexpectedly tore through the village, sweeping away homes, livelihoods, and most tragically, lives. The silence in the area, often disrupted by wind blowing through the scattered rocks and debris, carrying the memories of a life once well lived and dreams tragically shattered. Approximately 9 months after the disaster, many survivors remain in limbo despite the many yet unfulfilled promises by various people, organizations and the government. The victims say their woes have further worsened after efforts to resettle them by various humanitarian agencies, including the Rotary Foundation and Scan Foundation, which had offered to construct 14 houses for some of the hardest hit families who were barred.
Walitupea ahadi na mpaka waleo ahadi ijaitimika. Sasa tunauliza kwa sababu saa hii tumepata wasabaria wema. Si wakubali sisi tuendelee na maisha yetu tujengewe.
Job Okello, the regional coordinator for Rotary in Nakuru County, said they had been directed to first seek permission from the Ministry of Interior before starting the works.
When we were ready and had really received the monies that we were ready to actually come and do groundbreaking and give the beneficiaries, we were surprised that we needed to get permission to be able to do this. Whereas we had indicated when this happened, we came, there was a task force in place, and we said we would like to help, but do a more permanent solution. So we thought when we were introduced to the area elders and the beneficiaries, we could come and just gift them the houses. But now we are told that we cannot start until we get some approvals. From the DC's office, we are told we need to get a letter from the PS, which to us is a bit difficult because we have done a lot of charity, but we haven't found a requirement like that. Because we would assume if they had the money today and a beneficiary wanted to reconstruct their houses, would they need that letter really?
Bernard Ndungo, though thankful to have survived the tragedy, lives with the pain of losing 2 of his sons.
I lost my lad, my house with all the households, but even most painful, I lost my 2 sons, who I miss very much up to.
Ndungo, who would have benefited from the program, questions the grounds well-wishers are being barred from helping them, yet they were the rightful owners of the land.
We remember His Excellency the President was here, and while here, he promised us that his government will resettle all the victims. We don't understand why the government would fail to resettle us, and they have all the resources, and they become also a barrier when we have a well-wisher who is willing to resettle us immediately.
Similar frustrations are shared by Reverend Stephen Maura, who lost 3 members of his family.
Hii ardhi nilinunua. Niko na title D ambayo inasoma majina yangu. Kwa nini nakatazwa kujengewa na wale ambao wanabeba mzigo wetu? Baada ya kupoteza mali zetu zote, baada ya kupoteza familia zetu, tukapata watu wa kutusaidia angalau turudi kwa mashamba yetu. Na tuko na cheti, tuko na title deeds. Kwa nini serikali inakataa tujengewe?
Shamsha Girani from the Scan Foundation says they were ready to construct the first phase of the houses to resettle the families. However, he regrets the obstacles placed will see the funds are diverted to other needy cases.
We have the funding available to give them, but if it proves a bit difficult, what happens is there are a lot of needs out there. So we'll just move and do another project altogether, which is unfortunate because the money was raised to be able to support these communities. So we're asking the government, anybody who is responsible, to make it easy for us to help these people.
The victims were now on the verge of losing hope of ever getting back to their fate, and now calling on the government to clear the way for various organizations to facilitate a seamless issuance of humanitarian aid.
We bought the land that was affected, and no one is contesting that this place is my place. So mina shanga ni kwa nini serikali hitaki tujengewe ili hali wao wenyewe walituacha na wameshindwa.
John Kahiro for Lunchtime News.
Religious leaders in Mumias West constituency, Kakamega County, are calling on local politicians to end their frequent public disputes and instead work together for the benefit of residents. Speaking in Lukoye, Mumias West, Mwanga condemned a recent incident where political supporters caused chaos during the funeral of the late Augustino Gerald Odongo in Chibanga village, Matungu, forcing the ceremony to be halted. Meanwhile, former sports CS Rashid Echesa criticized certain politicians for allegedly exploiting the Mumias Sugar Company for personal gain at the expense of farmers and residents. This comes as police ordered the 3 politicians to record statements.
Chukua jukumu la kutafuta interfaith yote Kakamega County, na nitafanya bidii. Tukaeni jamaa, tukunguze pamoja, tusuluhishe, tuwe tukiona viongozi wetu wakikaa mbele. Tunataka jambo ambalo limetendeka ndani ya Matungu, hiyo maneno acheni.
Nasema vile rais alitoa amri, huyo rai akuja afungue distillery, akuja afungue cochen. Sisi msimamo wetu ni kwamba tunataka huyo rai akuja afungue distillery na afungue cochen, watu wetu wapate ajira jameni.
The Ogiek community is now accusing the government of deploying illegal tactics to lock them out of their ancestral home in the Mau Forest Complex. The community leaders, drawn from 6 counties, claimed that the government was hurriedly validating the settlement of thousands of people in Kapsita, Ngongo Geri, Likia, Sururu, Saino, Kiptagich, Ndoinet and Tinet, among other areas, whose titles were revoked by the famous Paul Ndungu land report. Ogiek Council of Elders chairperson John Lobolo said this was among government attempts to avoid compliance with 2 judgments of the African Court of Peoples and Human Rights in Arusha.
Maana yake waiko kwao, na sisi Ogiek hatuna kwetu. Hatuna arsa wengine au makao bali ya watoto wetu bali ya kuchezea, lakini wao waiko mahali ya kuchezea, lakini wanataka kuja kuhangaisha sisi tu.
Serikali aliomba kwamba wakuje watekeleze ama wapewe nafasi ya mwezi 3. Mwezi 3 imeisha, na vile tunaona wamekuja katika vikao ya jamii ya Ogiek, hasa Eastern Mau, wanakuja na njia isiyoeleweka, na jamii ya Ogiek nikiwa kiongozi yao nimekataa.
People with disabilities in the northeastern region have called on the government to include them in decision-making and appointments in upcoming local projects. Chairperson for People with Disabilities in the northern region, Hafid Maalim, lamented that there are a lot of challenges faced by PWDs who come from a marginalized area, adding that there would be an ease to accessing various opportunities if their issues had been prioritized. Hafid is now calling for the 5% policy of inclusion to be implemented in the projects laid out by the president in the region.
When you want to grow the disability fraternity, they are all equal to other Kenyans, to be incorporated in all angles, even whenever decision making is being made and in all offices.
Tunaomba uhimize barabara zetu wakati zinatengenezwa, nyumba zetu wakati zinajengwa, wao wanajenga nyumba ambaye iko na mahali tunaweza enda tujisaidie, iko na mahali sisi tunaweza panda. Kwa hiyo nyumba imejengwa, barabara zetu tujengewe pahali tunaweza pitia, tufikie wale watu wengine, na kwa hizo miradi yote ya serikali tupewe nafasi.
A group of vendors with disabilities operating in Nairobi Central Business District took to the streets Tuesday morning to lament what they claim unfavorable environment for conducting their businesses. The vendors, who demonstrated from Kencom bus terminus to County Hall demanded the provision of designated stalls to enable them to run their daily business. They also want the Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja to investigate their claims of being harassed and having their wares confiscated by county enforcement officers. In their petition received by County Clerk Edwin Gishana, they also demanded that the county involve them in critical decision-making that affects their plight.
Kutokana na directive ambayo ilitolewa, ambao sisi kama walemavu hatukuhusishwa, hatujui ilipangwa namna gani. Kile ambacho tuliona tu ni magari kuja kuchukua vitu zetu, mabaiskeli kama haya yakachukuliwa, yakaharibiwa, kazi zetu zikachukuliwa, na zingine hata mpaka waleo hatujawahi pata mahali ambapo zilipelekwa.
Bwana Gavana, tangu tuanze hii mambo ya mashida ya kushinda tukifukuzwa hapa town, tayari tumepoteza zaidi ya walemavu 8. Sababu venye mwenzangu amesema hapa, wengi wanatumia mandawa. Kuna watu wako epileptic, wengine wanatumia mandawa kama za diabetic.
Ningeomba gavana wetu atutasame sisi walemavu, sababu sisi walemavu hatuwezi kimbia mbio. Bila alikuwa amesema masaa na yeye ndiye aliharibu. Wakati alisema watu wauze saa 10, angewacha kanjo watumie kazi yao kwa kuuza vitu.
Over 150 widows from Kajiado County have benefited from crafting of beads and breeding of fishing flies training program, courtesy of Ushanga Initiative. Speaking during a meeting in Kumpa Sub-County, Kajiado County, Ushanga Initiative Director Dorothy Mashipei pledged to secure an intellectual property rights for their works. The philanthropist, however, called for a greater business assistance for widows, particularly those from pastoral communities.
Women are not recognized. So for these women to come together to produce these products for a global market, it's a big thing. Let the stories of widows from the Maa community be known out there. But they have resilience, they have strength.
After a very long journey that we've walked with the widows and the women who have been working in the quarries, about 3 years ago, we found them in the quarries digging for soapstone. In the heat, in the middle of the heat.
We are continuing with the training women, so here we target 150, but of course we want to make it as many women as possible.
And now let's look at news making headlines in the world of business. Adults will take responsibility for vices committed by their children online. Broadcasting and Telecommunications Principal Secretary, that is Professor Edward Kisiangani, says freedoms including in the online space cannot be limitless.
I think as a challenge at which we need to communicate from the Kenyan perspective as we celebrate this day is that the UN and the UNESCO bodies, their attendant institutions such as ITU, should work together quickly so that we have certain universal frameworks which can be domestically adopted by different countries to make sure that what we do here in Kenya is also being done in China, is also being done in the United States, in Colombia, so that people don't do their own things, and at the international level we are unable to control traffic that threatens the global order.
To build cybersecurity skills and awareness among students, we are working with the Ministry of Information and Huawei to provide online cybersecurity training and a boot camp. Applications are opening today for any student wishing to engage in this.
And Kenyans have been urged to embrace local tourism, especially in the coastal town of Lamu. Local community groups seek to showcase the beauty, culture and history of the region in a broader effort to boost domestic tourism and support the local economy.
Lamu, known for its pristine beaches, rich Swahili heritage and historical significance, has seen a surge in Kenyan visitors who are eager to experience its unique charm. According to a group of domestic tourists, both local and international tourists are increasingly interested in visiting Lamu due to the sustained peace and security in the area.
Wanataka kutembea Lamu. Lamu iko salama, iko very secure. Security iko mzuri na ni mahali pazuri sana pa kutembea, especially kama ni watalii wa nchini.
We believe in our security apparatus. So tunaendelea kuhisi Wakenya wengine wasisikie hizo siasa za huko nje za kusema ati Lamu kuna mambo mbaya, so waweze kutembea Lamu County.
Efforts by multi-agency security teams have restored security and revived tourism sector that was on its deathbed.
Watu watembee, Lamu ni Kenya, tembea Lamu, governor amefanya security huku vizuri na pia serikali yenyewe.
The tourists believe that by embracing their own culture, Kenyans will not only experience a sense of national pride, but also contribute to the sustainable growth of local economies, preserving both cultural heritage and natural beauty for generations to come. Frederick Mwoki for Lunchtime News.
Kenyan businesses should explore alternative markets beyond traditional trading partners to remain competitive and resilient in an evolving global economy. This was the key message during Absa Bank's send-off event for a delegation of business leaders embarking on a trade exchange mission to Estonia and Finland. Absa Bank Head of Small and Medium Enterprises, Erastus Muthura, has underscored the need for continuous mentorship and structured follow-ups to ensure that micro, small and medium enterprises effectively implement the knowledge and connections gained from such exchanges.
And we have partnered together with some of our partners in taking them to Estonia, where they will be meeting other business people and they will be having business-to-business forums. They will be having engagements. They are looking for opportunities. We are going over and above the traditional markets that have been common in other years, in other trips that we've had. So what happened is that
one of our biggest job at KNCCI is to make sure that we close those business, the B2Bs. Like we will be having people who have interest in timber, IT. We'll also have people who are interested to penetrate to Europe through Estonia. It's very easy to become an e-citizen in Estonia. Once you become an e-citizen in Estonia, that opens you up to 28 countries in Europe.
Estonia is built on the private sector. Private sector builds the solutions, government adopts the solutions. Now, that is what we are trying to bring these companies that are going to be able to understand from the private sector in Estonia how they are able to build their solutions to help the government to be more citizen-centric. So in that way, we are seeing that there is willingness, there is the ability to be able to close deals as soon as there's synergy between two parties.
Estonia's over 2 decades of building a very robust digital society and being able to share that experience through partners on the ground here.
Beyond borders now, a consortium of investors led by Elon Musk offered $97.4 billion to take over OpenAI, which is the maker of ChatGPT. The billionaire's attorney, Mark Toberoff, confirmed he submitted the bid for all assets of the tech company to its board on Monday. Details of these and more stories in our Business News Roundup.
The offer is the latest twist in a long-standing battle between Musk, the world's richest man and right-hand to US President Donald Trump, and OpenAI chief executive Sam Altman over the future of the startup at the center of the AI boom. In a response to the bid, Altman posted on Musk's social media platform X, "No thank you, but we will buy Twitter for $9.74 billion if you want." OpenAI is widely credited with helping bring artificial intelligence tools into the mainstream and sparking huge investment in the sector. Musk and Altman co-founded the startup in 2015 as a non-profit company, but the relationship has soured since the Tesla and X boss departed the firm in 2018. Altman is said to be restructuring the company to become a for-profit entity, stripping it of its non-profit board, a move Musk argues means the company has abandoned its founding mission of developing AI for the benefit of humanity. Elsewhere, China car sales fell by 12% in January from a year earlier to 1.81 million units, data from the China Car Passenger Association shows. This comes as automakers brace for intensified competition in the world's largest auto market. Sales of electric vehicles and plug-in hybrids grew by 10.5% from a year earlier to make up 41.2% of total sales per China Passenger Car Association data. This has been evident in American EV car maker Tesla seeing a slowdown in sales across Europe, also being replicated in a decline in sales in China as well. New sales data reveals that the American EVs maker deliveries in China fell by 11.5% last month, while key domestic rivals like BYD, Chang'an Automobile, and XPeng saw their numbers climb. Finally, Russia's government says U.S. sanctions against them should not affect Moscow's oil trade with India, adding that it was too early to assess the impact of the latest restrictions. This comes after Russian supply to India fell in December and January from levels in the preceding 6 months, following sanctions imposed on them in January, targeting Russia's oil supply chain, causing tanker freight rates to soar as some buyers and ports in China and India steered clear of sanctioned ships. Resultantly, India became the top buyer of Russian seaborne oil sold at a discount after Western nations imposed sanctions on Moscow and curtailed their energy purchases in response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2022. Nduta Mokami for Lunchtime News.
National Under-17 ladies football team coach Mildred Cheche has unveiled a provisional squad of 51 players ahead of next month's World Cup qualifier against Uganda. The squad includes a number of players who featured at last year's World Cup in Dominican Republic, such as midfielder Halima Imbachi and goalkeeper Velma Auma. The junior starlets will begin their training camp this week with friendly matches lined up to ensure the team is well prepared for the Uganda test. Uganda, having already played in the first round of the qualifiers, will come into the match with an advantage in terms of match fitness. The Kenyan juniors will be aiming to advance past Uganda and set up a decisive clash against Cameroon for a ticket to the Under-17 FIFA Women's World Cup. The tie will be contested over 2 legs, with the first match scheduled between 7th and 9th of next month, and the return leg set for 14th to 16th of next month.
Beautifully struck. Low on her face. The Kenya fans are being rewarded tonight. Looking to seize the opportunity tonight. She's done well here, but no shot yet. Mexico are going to play a card here. Certainly well taken penalty, that is. A late surge and a penalty, but they couldn't drag themselves level. Mexico 1, Kenya 2.
Further afield, Crystal Palace beat Doncaster 2-0 to comfortably sail through to the FA Cup 5th round at the Eco Power Stadium. Daniel Munoz put the visitors ahead in the 31st minute before Justin Devney netted in the second goal on the first half stoppage time. The Eagles will now host Millwall on the first weekend of March. In other matches, Manchester City will play Plymouth, which eliminated EPL league leaders Liverpool last weekend, as Manchester United plays Fulham. Aston Villa will face Cardiff City, while Newcastle United will play Brighton and Hove Albion.
Player backtracking to come and punch that.
Lunchtime news here on KBC Channel 1 from Brian Muraro, who is on the sign language interpretation, and myself, Betty Kiptum, and the entire team that made this possible. We wish you a lovely afternoon. Bye-bye.
Are you a talented artist? Or are you passionate about a topic you want to discuss? But money can be very hard to find for an upcoming artist. Don't worry, Studio Mashinani has got your back. Sign up on ajira.co.ke to book a session with your music and video producers across the country. Work on your music, jingles, spoken words, and even podcasts to realize your dream. All for free. Studio Mashinani, Radani Talent.
Kwa nini lakini mwanamke utesa moyo wangu? Kwa nini lakini? Leo nitakumaliza.
Nuru. Mimi kama kiongozi wenu, mimi nawaahidi kwamba nitawajengea hospitali nyingine.
Kamwambie kama hakukupata wakati ule, sasa ndo hawezi kukupata kabisa.
Mimi nimesema tu leo nitalala kwa Karembo.
Jua tu kwamba kuna kitu muhimu kimepotea humu nyumbani.
Nini basi na kipotea wapi?
Nakuuliza pete yangu iko wapi?
The moment you see us on your screens, you definitely know that it is time for you to get to know what has been happening. Matters Entertainment. How are you?
Well, gone. Welcome to the biggest, the baddest, extraordinary show right here in the 254. You already know. Valentine is coming.
Hey, where is your boyfriend?
Huh?
You were sitting at home. You were so...
Miss V, show us your boyfriend. You know, Valentine is coming, manze. You know, tea, serving us tea. About who is dating who, but this time round manzana kuweka on the limelight.
You want to see my
Kuna
boyfriend?
mtu ama
It is none of nobody's business.
Really?
So I will move on swiftly. We
Unclaimed?
wachana nayo. Wachana nayo.
Okay.
Yes, so today we have a lot in store for you. We'll be letting you know the events that went down over the weekend, as well as an interview that I know you are definitely going to enjoy. And we'll let you know what is happening on them social media streets, matters, trends. My name is Vivian Dago. You can simply just call me Miss V.
Jakumula the partyDaddy.co.ke, aka your girlfriend got my website.
And you know what this right here is?
Grapevine.
What you gotta do.
Game yangu iko juu tu sana, na game yako iko down. You already know, man. I'm taking you back in the days, manze. Yeah, Punit is the name of the group. The name of the song is Game Yangu Iko Juu. And tonight we have all the honors and the privilege, man, to celebrate their 20th anniversary, manze. We are talking about, you know, Gabu, Bonai, and Frasha are celebrating their 20th anniversary at the Mass House along Gong Road. So without wasting time, let's go.
Kenyan rap legends P-Unit marked their 20 years in the music industry with a star-studded anniversary celebration, which took place at Mass House of Ngong Road. The night took off with Gidaman, a renowned hype master, setting the energy in the house with his incredible performance, which prepared the audience for the great anticipation of P-Unit. Thereafter, the iconic trio broke the long anticipation by stepping on stage. Frasha, Gabu and Bonai, all looking dapper in their custom-made designs, ready to take us back to the unforgettable memory lane through their timeless music. It was easy to tell that the majority of the audience were millennials and Gen Zs who grew up listening to their songs. With a live band that made them sound so natural, connecting them with their fans. Kushoto Kulia followed next. Frasha brought the beautiful Mimo on stage as they performed Carry together. The celebration of 2 decades of P Unit's music, memories, and the movement that shaped a generation was a mind-blowing stage production, making it a lifetime event as many fans took a walk down memory lane to recall the impact of P Unit's songs during their younger days.
What a celebration befitting people who have really done immense things for the industry, that is the music industry. 2 decades in the industry is no mean feat, so we want to keep on appreciating P Unit that comprises of Bonai, Gabu and Frasha. And by the way, in that spirit, we did a feature on them just to get to know where exactly they started, when did they get truly into the limelight, and just how their journey has been. So check that out.
Introducing Bonnie and Frasha, Nagabu, Jesse on this.
In the early 2000s, Nairobi's vibrant music scene witnessed the emergence of P Unit, a dynamic hip-hop trio comprising of Frasha, Gabu, and Bonai. Under the mentorship of renowned rapper Nonini, they quickly became a force to reckon with in Kenya's genge music genre.